who will say that we have our own independent constitution and we'll have our own independent blockchain sovereignty. So I think governments may see that effectively as a threat to their national security in the physical world, their national sovereignty, and to their cyber sovereignty in the coming times. Hard to predict, but I think if there can be more harmonious approach between nation states and these, at no point of time can any of these organizations take over the world. Governments are concerned that these new technologies should not come in and lock the government out of business. They are more concerned that they should be able to retain the control on their turf. So long as these new cutting-edge technologies and organizations are able to show the government, we are not in competition with you, we are here to support you, and we are here to make life more easier, more accountable, more transparent for you, I think governments will be more likely to bite the bullet then. But if you're going to say, hold on, you are a government, I'm not bothered, I've got my own constitution, I'll be governed by that, and it'll be my blockchain sovereignty, I don't think the governments across the world will be very amenable to listening that kind of music. And if that happens, they could effectively be coming up with appropriate parameters to even control these kinds of mechanisms. So very hard to predict, but I think we have some very interesting legal challenges emerging in the coming times as these new technologies continue to challenge our imagination and thought process. Thank you. Okay, thanks.
So you talked about the tax implications that would be I would be bound after 31st of March. So most of the profits as of now are being booked as speculative business income in India. Now if I bought the coin from a legit source of income, say a bank transaction that I've already declared, and I put in the money back into my account with say even a 100x of returns. So I've declared my income, now it's like a two-way thing. Either they discover some kind of a disproportionate asset out of my declaration, then I have a different liability. But if there is no disproportionate asset and I've already declared my speculative income and like deducted any kind of maybe any expenses that I have borne towards earning that, what is the kind of liability I might have with the taxman?
As a taxpayer, your biggest liability will be, tell me you did transaction worth 100 rupees. You actually got a speculative earning of 1000x. And you put it back in the system. Let's take you as for granted that what you've done is correct. Give me the proof of where the speculative earning has come from. How did it actually generate? Who did it actually belong to? Where did the transactions take place? Where are the logs of the transactions and stuff like that? So I can assure you that the taxman has enough ammunition in his bag to constantly harass, trouble you. And actually I can even assure you that you may never be able to have effective legal answers to his legal questions. Can you actually produce to me the logs of any Bitcoin transaction done online of which you will have possession of? I'm not so sure. So when they say, no, the question they will say is, well, it's public, it's fine. You can be proof of how you have earned. From 1 rupee you earned 1000 rupees. You tell me no. You let me know and give the proof from where the speculative profits are coming. You've declared it, fine. But you have to convince me that this is indeed the speculative benefits and it's not money laundering, it's not violation of the law, it's not proceeds of cybercrime.
So like the rates of Bitcoin are open in the market.
Correct.
So do I need to prove that as well to him because it's open in the market? I can like just use the exchange rates of that specific.
No, he's going to ask you to say, hold on, you give me the entire details of your transaction. Today the gold is at 30,000 rupees, I'm not bothered. You let me know how did you actually sell your gold from 30,000 rupees into 30 lakh rupees or whatever. You have to satisfy me the parameters for your transaction.
And if that transaction was like on a bank account, so
typically if it's done on a bank account, you're on a more safer wicket because you've already done legal.
I only got my money, then the taxman should ask the guy how he paid for that, right?
On the contrary, they'll ask you.
Because
You
I
prove.
got money, I don't know what was this source of income.
Correct. On the contrary, what proof do you have to show that the money that you got is not money laundering money?
So that he has to justify, like I'm declaring that income, and I'm declaring my source of income as a speculative income of sale of my Bitcoin that I declared.
You'll be surprised now the law has changed dramatically. So once an allegation is made that this is money laundering money or whatever, then you can't say you prove it's money laundering money. You will have to prima facie come up with your clean slate. So it may look very messy right now. Maybe it's not that messy. Maybe this is only a hypothetical example that we are saying. But what I can tell you is, a lot of questions that will be asked, I can promise you that you will not have answers. And if you don't have answers, the taxman has enough to arm-twist you and potentially cause a lot of harassment. So the question is, it's like a business risk. When I'm going on the road without the helmet, I'm taking the risk that if I get hit, I will suffer brain injury. But that's if I get hit. If I don't get hit, I'm lucky. You can be lucky for the entire of your life and then be caught, not be caught. But in case if you get caught, then that's a problem that you will have to potentially face. I still feel that you should do your due diligence as a user, look at the terms and conditions and say, look, I'm a genuine bona fide user. This is my bank account. I made this payment to Mr. X currency or whatever, or this web platform. And then this is the money that they come back. I have not generated this 100 rupee into 1000 rupees. The exchange has done it. The market has done it. Don't catch them. Whatever I paid, whatever I've got, I can only have control on these transactions and I can give it to you, so I have given it to you. So those are a lot of things. But again, this is very speculative, very hard to predict. This is a hypothetical example because if in normal world, the taxman can have enough ammunition to arm-twist you and get you into all kinds of trouble for paying more tax or whatever. I think in these kinds of emerging technologies, where even the gurus don't have the complete answers, I'm pretty confident there could be a lot of issues that will remain unanswered. And if that happens, we should be mentally prepared for this kind of an approach.
Can I just add one more thing?
Sure, I think maybe on this, and I'll close the last one. Yeah.
Okay, he might put me into some bad situation, but does my tax liability goes beyond 30% that it's already taxed?
See, it's not about tax liability. It's a question of, if there's money laundering, has there been violation of the law? Number two, if there's violation of the law, can you be punished for the same? Number three, has there been a foreign exchange violation? If there's a FEMA violation, Foreign Exchange Management Act. Number four, if there is a violation, can you be made criminally liable? Number five, if you can be made criminally liable, can you be sent to jail? And if so, for what quantum of jail time should you be sent to jail? Those are the bigger questions. Your tax liability may remain the same. But if it's proven that your transaction had a connection with money laundering, then you get straddled with a lot of other penalties under the prevailing laws. So it's a very, very uncertain situation that we are currently dealing with. Let's have that as the last question, please.
My question is just an improvement over this question.
Mm-hmm.
First is that we have every exchange, wherever we trade, it has a trade history. Now that trade history says that I have invested this amount of money, this is the return at so and so time, the money has been sold or the Bitcoin has been sold or a particular cryptocurrency has been sold. That's just the first part of it which justifies that, okay, this is the amount of money or this is the amount of cryptocurrency that I have earned and these are the rates. The second is, for in case I am in India, I have an ICO that comes from Estonia or any other country and I raise money or say Bitcoins. Okay. Now I get it routed through another company which is there in Estonia. Won't that be considered as a FDI in India if it is invested?
You have merit.
Good for the country?
You have merit in what your argument is. I'm not so sure what will be the view that will be taken by the taxman. That is subjective interpretation. I tend to totally agree with what you're saying, because ultimately what you're doing is getting benefit for a country like India. And if that be the case, you should be rewarded, not punished. Okay? But then that's a traditional utopian approach. Practically what will happen or not happen is hard to predict.
Should we have a PIL on this?
Well, we should have a PIL on at least getting the clarities on the legalities pertaining to blockchains, because the community is growing, the technology is growing. I'm very clear, cryptocurrencies and blockchains are the present and are the future. So if the governments are still not waking up to it, it's like the government closing its eyes at 12 o'clock noon when the sun is right on top of our heads and thinking it's midnight. It's not happening. So the quicker the government comes out of its so-called ostrich approach and starts looking at what the ground realities are, the better it will be for India.
Can I also give you my phone? You can also give me your phone. Selfie. Selfie.
there one? Okay.
Yes, please.